Imagine a case so mysterious it haunted investigators and families alike for over 5 decades. This is the story of Jane Doe, a woman without a name, a history, or a traceable past. In the early 1970s, in a small, quiet town, the body of a young woman was found abandoned in an area far removed from prying eyes. She had no identification, no personal belongings that could give a hint to her life, and no family members who came forward to claim her. Her discovery sparked waves of curiosity, fear, and sadness among the community. For years, her case file would sit on a dusty shelf, untouched and unsolved until now. After 52 years of mystery, new revelations in 2023 finally brought the truth to light. So stay with us as we unravel the story of Jane Doe and uncover how, in a time when her case seemed all but forgotten, an unexpected break in the investigation revealed her true identity. When Jane Doe was first discovered, it was a typical day. The sun had just risen, casting a pale light over the rural landscape as a passerby stumbled upon her body. Law enforcement arrived quickly, securing the area and searching for clues that might help explain who she was or how she had ended up here. Initial observations revealed that she was young, likely in her 20s or early 30s, and she wore clothing that suggested she might have been out for an evening on the town or perhaps simply dressed for an ordinary day. But there was nothing about her appearance or belongings that provided investigators with a definitive lead. Local officers launched a full-scale investigation, tirelessly combing through missing persons reports, checking towns nearby and reaching out to states across the country. They questioned anyone who might have seen her in her final hours, hoping to find a clue. But despite their determined efforts, every lead turned cold. Tips poured in from concerned citizens, but none led to her identity. It was as if this woman had simply appeared out of nowhere, with no past to uncover and no future to guide her. With each dead end, hope faded. The officers had poured their hearts into finding answers, but over time the investigation slowed. Jane Doe's case, once front and center, gradually moved to the back of the records room. Her file sat in silence, gathering dust as the years went by. For over 50 years, her story lay forgotten, a nameless figure with a life cut short and no one to remember her. But even as her case grew cold, there was still an unspoken resolve among a few who believed her story was far from over. Decades later, with advancements in forensic science and renewed dedication, her identity would finally come to light. Yet, in those early days, the investigation had reached a heartbreaking halt, and it seemed that Jane Doe would be lost to time forever. But that didn't mean she was forgotten. Local lore grew around her case, with townspeople passing on the tale of the young woman lost to history. For years, rumors swirled. Some believed she had been a drifter with no fixed address, while others thought she may have been involved in something sinister that led to her tragic end. Even those who never knew her in life felt a quiet sadness, a sense that this unknown woman had become part of their town's history, a mystery that refused to let go. As the years went by, advancements in forensic technology began to reshape cold case investigations. In the early 2000s, with the advent of DNA profiling, a renewed sense of hope emerged among cold case detectives and communities haunted by unsolved cases. Jane Doe's file, alongside many others, was re-examined in light of these new methods. Investigators attempted to extract a DNA profile, hoping to find a match in a database of family members or missing persons. But once again, luck seemed to evade her case. The DNA yielded no significant results, and once more her case returned to its shelf, waiting. Then came a breakthrough in forensic genealogy, a tool that has helped solve some of the most notorious cold cases. This technique, which allows investigators to trace unknown individuals by building out family trees from distant genetic relatives, brought a glimmer of hope to Jane Doe's case. In late 2022, inspired by other success stories, local law enforcement decided to try forensic genealogy as a final attempt to bring justice and closure to her story. The process was meticulous. It involved analyzing Jane Doe's DNA against countless samples in the hopes of finding a distant relative, a cousin, a grandparent, perhaps even a sibling who might unknowingly hold the key to her identity. Weeks turned into months as specialists painstakingly pieced together tiny fragments of family connections. The investigation stretched across state lines, reaching far into the branches of family trees that had long grown apart. It was like assembling a puzzle with thousands of missing pieces. But then, in the early months of 2023, there was a hit. A match, albeit a distant one, that provided a clue about Jane Doe's origins. With this information, the team traced the lead further, narrowing down possible family members and contacting relatives who might have information about her. One particular family responded to the call. They shared memories of a young woman who had left home in the late 1960s and hadn't been heard from since. At the time, her family had assumed she had started a new life elsewhere. This family history provided the missing link detectives had searched for. DNA samples were collected and compared, and in an emotional revelation, it was confirmed after 52 years, Jane Doe finally had a name. For the family, the news was both devastating and a relief. The pain of learning what happened to their loved one was unimaginable, but so was the gratitude for the closure they never thought they'd have. After decades of wondering, they now knew where she had been and could properly lay her to rest. For the community, it was a bittersweet moment. The mystery that had loomed over their town for generations was finally resolved, but with it came the sorrowful realization of the young woman's tragic end. The revelation of Jane Doe's identity sent ripples through the true crime community as well. People across the country were reminded of the power of science, determination, and family in unraveling even the oldest of mysteries. Her story serves as a beacon for countless other cold cases, a reminder that as long as we keep searching, justice and answers are possible, even decades later. This story of Jane Doe is a testament to the importance of never giving up. Her family, though fractured by time, was finally able to reclaim her memory, and her community was finally able to give her the respect and closure she deserved. But the case also brings up sobering questions. How many more Jane and John Does lie in quiet corners, waiting for someone to remember them, to look deeper, to search one last time? This case leaves us with a powerful lesson: without advancements in forensic science and the tireless work of those who believed in her right to be identified, Jane Doe might have stayed a mystery forever. Her story, now solved after an incredible 52 years, offers hope to families of missing persons worldwide, proving that even after decades, answers can still be found. If you're interested in understanding the incredible journey that solved her case, check out this in-depth video on YouTube. It dives into the world of forensic genealogy and unpacks the meticulous process experts use to bring Jane Doe's identity back to light. This video not only explains the science, but also showcases the dedication and commitment of those who refuse to give up on her story. Her case reminds us that even in the darkest moments, there's always a possibility for light and justice. It shows us how far forensic technology has come and how crucial it can be in uncovering hidden stories. For families still searching, her case brings renewed hope. Thank you for watching. If you're captivated by these true crime mysteries and the relentless pursuit of justice, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on new stories. We're committed to bringing you more tales of resolution, closure, and remembrance, because every story deserves an ending and every person deserves to be remembered. See you in the next video for more incredible mysteries, where we honor stories that matter.